episode has been brought to you by Schedulicity. You are listening to episode 36 of the Connected Yoga Teacher podcast with today's guest, Shai Plonski, a teacher of Thai yoga massage. Hey, Connected Yoga Teachers, thank you so much for being here. I'm your host, Shannon Crow. I'm a mother of 3, a yoga teacher, and a consultant for yoga teachers. This podcast was inspired by the first time I left a yoga teacher training. In my 200-hour yoga teacher training, I made some amazing connections. I was held accountable to practice yoga, and I was learning so much about myself and the roots of yoga. When we graduated as a group, we talked about how we would get together monthly, how we would continue with this journey of learning about yoga, learning about ourselves, and gathering each month. In reality, though, we all went home to our lives and our new yoga classes. When I left that yoga teacher training and came home to start teaching classes, I felt like I had been dropped off in this wilderness of yoga entrepreneurship. I had left this constant feed of knowledge, a motivation to practice, learn, and grow on a regular basis. And most of all, I left this super supportive community of other yoga teachers. So fast forward to today, it's been over 11 years now since that first yoga teacher training, and I still have so many questions. I have questions about anatomy, accounting, philosophy, marketing. The list goes on. As my dad always says, you ask a lot of questions. This podcast was born out of me really wanting to create a place where yoga teachers can turn and feel supported every single week through knowledge, inspiration, stories, and most of all, actionable steps. I really love actionable steps. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I like lists and I like things that are helpful and useful. On the podcast, together we hear from yoga teachers, but also other professionals, so that you can listen between the classes, workshops, and training that you are teaching or attending. Also, we have an amazing and supportive Facebook group. There's over 900 yoga teachers in there now from around the world, and they're sharing tips, questions, knowledge. I've been told by a lot of you that the vibe in that group is really safe and inclusive, and that's what we were going for. This is what yoga teachers need. You are out there sharing your yoga in your unique way, and we're here to cheer you on and help you when you get stuck. For example, this week, Erin asked for help with her poster, and Roslyn, Raina, Anne, Lisa, Caroline, Paloma, and Chelsea offered some great examples and tips. For those of you in the group, did you know that you can search for posts and topics in there? If you go, now I only know how to do this from my computer, but if you go into the Facebook group from your computer, look for search this group. It's on the left-hand side. So for example, if you were looking for more information on mudras, accounting, or Ayurveda, you can search for it. We also have a website. It's called theconnectedyogateacher.com. And on the website, you can see where you can work with me further, either through one-on-one consultation calls, look for the Work With Me tab for that, or through courses and training, both online or in person. Just click on courses. The website also has every podcast as well as the live shows from season 1. All of the show notes are on there, thanks to Laura, with tons of information to help you. For the next in-person yoga teacher training that I am co-facilitating, co-leading, that's the Mama Nurture Prenatal Yoga Teacher Training. So that's if you're interested in teaching anything from fertility, prenatal, postnatal, birthing, and baby and me classes and workshops. It's a really in-depth yoga teacher training. You're a registered prenatal yoga teacher when you graduate from that. And it's set in Meaford, Ontario, thanks to Beth Ruddy and her amazing, beautiful yoga studio there. So shout out to Beth. Thank you for all of your yoga offerings in this community. I actually get to meet with Beth and her 200-hour yoga teacher training group this weekend to share an introduction to prenatal yoga, and I'm super excited. So the dates for the prenatal yoga teacher training are April 13th, 14th, 15th, May 4th, 5th, 6th, and June 8th, 9th, and 10th of 2018. So that's in the spring of 2018. And if you're looking for more information on that, you can go to mamanurture.ca. It's MAMA nurture.ca. Kim and I would love to see you there. We both have a strong, strong love for all things prenatal baby and me yoga. Okay, so let's get into one of my favorite topics, Thai yoga massage. Today's guest is Shai Plonski, who is a friend and who also was my very first Thai yoga massage teacher. I'm excited to share this interview with all of you, especially for those of you who are wanting to increase your revenue or add in more hands-on assists or create amazing workshops using Thai yoga massage and yoga combined. Shai is going to talk to us about all of this and some more. He shares some life stories that I had never heard before, like how he used to work at fairs as a carny, making wax molds of people's hands. I did not know this story. Before we dive in further, here is Allie with the Schedulicity Hot Tip of the Week.
Hello, Connected Yoga teachers. This is Allie from Schedulicity with the Hot Tip of the Week. We've talked a lot about how Schedulicity can help your class-based business, but we know many teachers also offer one-on-one services like Thai massage. Through your Schedulicity account, you can seamlessly book and manage those services alongside your group classes and workshops. Those calendars are integrated together so you'll never be double booked. If you create a new class that conflicts with another appointment on your schedule, a window will pop up to warn you of the exact dates and times that interfere. We've got your back so you can take care of your clients' backs.
Connected Yoga teachers, Schedulicity is a team of awesome over there. Every week they're checking in to see what our podcast is about so that they can match up the hot tip with the topic that we are talking about. So thank you, Allie, and thank you, Schedulicity team. Also, I'm super excited and I can hardly contain it. I can't tell you all of the details, but Schedulicity is working with me to put together an amazing offering. I'm pretty sure that I'll have the details all ready to share in next week's podcast. What I can tell you now is that you will love this if you are using Schedulicity already, thinking about using Schedulicity, or if you just have general questions about online scheduling software. So I will share more next week for sure. Okay, so as promised, we're going to hear from Shai. A couple of more notes about Shai. Over the past 15 years, Shai has taught Thai yoga massage at some of the largest yoga centers. He's taught in Toronto and around the world, including places like Kripalu and Omega. Some of you might be familiar with those places. He's also authored or co-authored 15 manuals and books on the practice of Thai yoga massage. He's trained over 3,000 practitioners and 100 teachers in this healing art. Shai is the founder of the Still Light Center. I have studied with 9 Thai yoga massage teachers over 4 years, and I learned the most from Shai because of his super calm nature and because he is so passionate about Thai massage and compassionate touch. You're going to hear it. In Shai's words, compassionate touch is our birthright. Also, as usual, I'll be back here at the end of the interview to kind of give you my key takeaways and to share a little bit of feedback from a fellow listener. So welcome to the Connected Yoga Teacher podcast, Shai. It is amazing to have you here today.
I'm so excited to be here, Shannon.
I think this is fun. I don't often get to interview people that I know well and am friends with, because often I'm interviewing people who I've just kind of seen an article online or seen something. But I think it's also fun because I get to ask you a lot of questions. So questions that I don't maybe know the answer to. So give us a little backstory into what got you started with Thai massage.
I started getting into Thai massage back in 2001, and it really had so much to do with being at a place in my life where I just didn't want to work behind a desk, and I wanted to do something that felt more meaningful to me and something that was be much more connected to spirit. And, I just connected with my hands and just realized, although I didn't play an instrument, or I didn't really have any background or experience really doing anything with my hands, but a few years prior, I just had this kind of beautiful experience connecting to spirit through my hands, I guess through previous work that I'd been doing, wax molds out of people's hands, or if you can believe, which basically just meant like taking their hands and putting it in wax and making shapes with their hands. But I did that with for thousands of hands for a summer, and that whole experience of meeting people through their hands and just also using my hands so much, would just have my whole body tingling by the end of the day. And I just kind of realized that I wanted to do something with my hands when it became time to find something a little more meaningful to do. And Thai massage has a background in yoga and meditation, which I had already been doing. Wow, this is life-changing stuff for me. So, in a very brief way, that's kind of how it all got inspired. And yeah, that's kind of the beginning of the story.
So wait a minute, back up for a moment. You were doing wax hands. Where were you doing that?
Well, I was doing that on the Jersey Shore in New Jersey, and I was a carny, essentially. So I had this whole job where I was running this booth, making wax molds out of people's hands. So it was my job to call people over, and then within just a couple of minutes. So that was one of the parts that was just so amazing, because, in this area, you just meet people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all classes, and essentially in those few minutes, though, I'm a total stranger to them, and I have to win their trust to get them to make a shape. But this process essentially involves putting their hand in ice cold water into really liquid, very hot wax, and then back into the water. So you would see jocks and people who just seem all confident, and they would see what's about to happen in front of, let's say, their girlfriend, and then they would have to oh wow, I'm not sure if I want to do this. So I'd have to win over their trust in just a few seconds, and then just kind of take over and do this thing, and then take their hand off, and then they would have their hand. You can make a peace sign, or I love you, or whatever shape you want with your hand. And I just really got to know people through their hands over the course of this summer, and it just opened me up to hands and to touch in a way that I would have never, I think, otherwise thought about.
Oh, I love it. I love it that might be happening right now to someone at a fair doing the wax hands. They might be that might be their start. So then what was the pivotal shift? Did you know about Thai yoga massage then?
I did not, no. So that was when I was in university, and then for 2 years I went traveling in Asia, and I did spend a bunch of time in Thailand. So I thought about it a lot, about just, in Thailand, when in Thailand people go and study Thai massage, take little trainings here and there, and I was definitely intrigued. But, it was one of those things where every time I felt like I needed a massage, there was no Thai massage right there, and every time that it was all around me, I'm I feel pretty good. And so I never ended up even getting a Thai massage when I was in Thailand. And I did go to Wat Po, which is the big school in Bangkok, and I was in Chiang Mai, which is another kind of central area where Thai massage is taught. But I was on a tight backpacker's budget and traveling with friends, and I just, for whatever reason at the time, it just wasn't the right timing. But I suppose the seed was planted there. And then a couple of years later, I was back in Canada, and that's where I got into, just decided now the timing was right. And I had heard about this place called the Omega Institute, which is a retreat center in the United States. And I just went there volunteering for a few weeks. And that's where I got my first real exposure to it. And at that point, I had already been doing Vipassana meditation, and I had been practicing yoga for a few years. So, when it was first presented to me, it was basically, Thai massage is basically yoga and massage put into this loving kindness flow that you get to connect with another person. And it always has to be at least as good to give as it is to receive. So that's what resonated so strongly with me. Oh, wow, I get to feel good while I help someone else. I get to bring a meditation practice, which, I was having so many benefits from yoga and meditation, but they're very personal. So here was this way to share it with the world, and I guess with another person in a one-on-one kind of way that just felt so appealing and powerful. And, here we are 15 years later, and I would say that those initial initial building blocks are still what inspire me every day to do this practice, and just seeing all the ways that it's helped me and all the ways that it's helped the thousands of students that I've taught over the years.
That's amazing. I love that I get to hear this story. Just so our listeners know, I actually met Shai in Montreal, and you were my first Thai yoga massage teacher, my very first one. I had one Thai yoga massage up on Manitoulin Island from Emily, and then I was like, I want to do this. So do you remember your first Thai massage?
My first Thai massage, well, I remember my first exposure to Thai massage was with a woman named Colleen Kelly, and she inspired me so much. She's just this radiant being and was teaching this little short Thai massage workshop at Omega. And I kind of popped into Omega partway through the season and partway through her teaching that workshop. But I met her like on the first day with me just kind of wandering around this place trying to decide, okay, well, I knew I came here to get exposure to different kinds of massage because I just knew about this retreat center and that there are just a lot of massage therapists and a lot of, little free workshops for the staff or for the volunteers to just kind of get exposure to different things. And she was like the first person I met, and instantly we bonded and connected. And she said, well, why don't you come to the last day of this workshop? She'd already been teaching it for a month, but she just invited me to come, and I did. And that's what kind of set me off. And I got into, I just knew that this was the right thing for me before I ever even received a massage. So I honestly couldn't even tell you when was the first time I actually received a massage. But I guess I've just been always attracted to the giving side of it and what it feels like for you as the giver, even more so than the receiver. Because that's one of the things about this massage that, and maybe it's the word massage that people kind of get hung up on, and people have these ideas about what massage could be where you are lying passively, or maybe you don't have clothes on, or maybe there's oils, or, all these things are just so not what Thai massage is. And fundamentally, like I said, it's a giving, it all starts from giving. So all about, it's a yoga practice that is a massage at the same time. So basically you have these three principles that are all about you. And I mentioned meditation and body mechanics and body movement and all these things that you have to feel in yourself and feel good so that you can help someone else to feel good. And that is what draws me to Thai massage every single time. And then, of course, once you dive deep into that and you get connected to source and spirit and you're in this flow with your body, and then you are flowing and connecting with your partner, and it's from there that you see all these amazing benefits for them as well. So it's such a win-win-win situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now, fast forward 15 years later, you actually have just published a book. Like, is it this week or what?
It's true. I did. I published a book 2 days ago that's not even fully for sale. It's in the pre-sale stage, and it's about, professionally speaking, quite possibly up there with the most exciting weeks and days of my life. I mean, it's this book called Compassionate Touch, Giving Massage for Optimal Health, Thriving Relationships, and Spiritual Awakening. And essentially, it's exactly what I'm talking about. It's trying to raise the consciousness and the education of people to know how powerful giving massage is for you. If you are a yoga teacher, if you are someone who's just really into a spiritual path and bringing that into your life every day, so many people are into it but don't really understand how massage and giving massage really can play a part, and how bringing that home into your community with your loved ones, with your lover, with your family and friends, what that does for you, and of course what that does for your bonds and your connections with people. So that is what that book is all about.
Well, congratulations. I saw that it's quickly climbing the Amazon chart, so that's exciting.
Thank you. I know it's mind-blowing. I can't believe it. It's like I just put it out on Monday, and it's number 4 in the massage category on Amazon, and number 5, I think, on the spiritual health category on Amazon. And clearly, there's a need for it, and there's a great taste for it, and that is so cool to see.
Yeah, especially there can be a lot of messages out there of, avoiding touch or when we're really lacking touch. So it's nice to see a book come through on compassionate touch.
Oh, great.
I know, the benefits for me teaching Thai yoga massage, the benefits just of studying and receiving and giving the whole time being in that environment, then bringing it home into my community because it became a real part of my yoga business for a while. So can you explain kind of to our listeners how you see other yoga teachers using this in their business?
Well, I mean, the first thing I would say is that I have taught many, many thousands of yoga teachers and yoga students. I would say it's hard to count how many people I've taught, but it's definitely well over 3,000 or 4,000 students, and more than half of them come from a yoga background. So I do have a ton of experience talking with and seeing the progression of yogis who learn Thai massage and then bring it into their business. And many people come in, you touched on it very well, is that many yoga teachers come in, first of all, because they have some bit of hesitation or maybe even a full-on aversion to touching their students in yoga class and making adjustments, even though it can be such an integral part to customizing a class. So that's usually the spark that brings yoga teachers into the class, because they just want to be able to feel more comfortable in their class to touch and connect and adjust students with hands-on adjustments. And for sure, Thai massage brings that in huge ways. It's certainly the way I teach it, because at the very core of this whole learning experience is the quality of touch, and what does it mean to do that in the best way possible. And it's completely transferable to a yoga class. And so the core of my teaching is this whole idea of how to ease in. And, I have this saying, which is like, how slow can you go and how high can you fly? And we explore what that means to really ease in and touch someone from a very light place to something deeper, and define that. In this way, you can really confidently adjust your students. But the truth is, even by the end of a class of Thai massage, these yoga teachers are blown away by what it does for them, because, and I started to mention meditation being at the root of this practice, but there's the flip side of it is Metta, and Metta means loving kindness and compassion, and you benefit so much from giving this massage, because really that's the only prerequisite, that you give from this place full of Metta, and so you tap in deeply. It's very much a visceral and very much an experiential process of getting into and feeling this energy in yourself to help you then work with someone else. And of course, that is what yoga teachers, I think, also really, really want in their yoga class. So first thing I would say is that yoga teachers who have learned this and then go into their yoga class, it's kind of like the expression same, but different. It's kind of like you might teach the same postures, but everything about how they teach their class, the energy that they actually bring into their class after they've learned Thai massage is noticeably different, and they hear it from their students that, oh wow, you touched me, you gave this class in a way that just, I feel so much more connected with you. So in terms of really building those solid and amazing relationships with their yoga students and just improving the quality of their classes, not only from just feeling more confident in touching, but just the overall energy that is brought into a class is noticeably different and improved when they've come and studied. But then you have practical side of it as well. All of a sudden you have a new skill that you can offer your students. And I know that a lot of revenue for a yoga teacher comes from one-on-one sessions, and this gives you this amazing yoga body work to offer your students. So that means that you just have a much more loyal and much more long-term kind of relationship that you can build with your students, because not every time is a student going to want to be put through a yoga practice. Different things are going on with their body, and they just may feel like, okay, can you stretch me today? Can you put me in certain positions and massage out knots and tension that are going on in my body and connect with me that way? And of course, now you have this ability to offer that to your students. But even more so is how it expands what you can offer as a yoga teacher, because one of the ways that my students are able to then take it into yoga studios is as part of restorative yoga classes or yin yoga classes. When you bring Thai massage into those classes, it booms. And in fact, I've seen people who start these programs and then end up having 40, 50 students in a class if the studio can handle that kind of volume. And they end up being like the most popular classes in the yoga studio because, again, the whole idea of bringing yoga and massage together is very exciting for a lot of people. So these skills give you some amazing ways to just expand your repertoire of what you can offer students in the different studios that you teach. And it's very profitable as well, because when you bring the hands-on touch into yoga classes, typically you can also charge more. It's not a $10 or $20 class. It might be a $25, a $30, or even a $40 or $50 experience when you have these 1.5, 2 hour workshops that are restorative yoga and Thai massage. And I've heard many stories amongst my own students in different places where I teach of, waiting lists of people trying to get in the door for these classes. So it's very exciting.
It's so true. At Tone Studio, we have it usually once a month. We offer it, and we limit the number of people that can sign up because we try and have 2 teachers there giving Thai massage assists kind of through a gentle class. And there's always, it's always full, and there's always a waiting list for the next time. So when that email goes out, people are jumping on it. It's true.
It's amazing.
It is really popular.
I have a couple of students who have taken it into a whole business of offering even retreats. So they teach yoga together, and then they do these restorative yoga sessions at retreat. And so that becomes a whole other layer to business, because that's another, of course, very lucrative way that yoga teachers can keep building their business, whether it's in Costa Rica or Bali or Panama, or even in, like these people, they rented a retreat center about an hour and a half away from the city where they live, and just be out in the country and bring a whole bunch of students there for the weekend. That becomes, you've already been doing it in your classes. So, a whole weekend built around Thai yoga, massage, and restorative yoga kind of built together. I mean, it's just like a retreat that I know I would want to go to. So
Yeah.
brings people into it.
I also appreciate how you brought in the way that it becomes a meditation. So I remember showing up to the very first day of we're going to learn Thai yoga massage you were teaching, and you have a very calm nature, but I'm quite type A, and I remember taking a lot of notes and thinking, how am I going to remember all this? And then the way it was taught and the meditative flow combined, you kept saying, you will just remember, let it come back to you, give it a moment. And I thought, yeah, whatever. But it really did. I would get into that flow until I had an hour and a half of Thai yoga massage that I could offer and know it was just a meditative flow that happened. So can you explain why that is possible? What the teaching is that makes it that possible?
I would love to bring you into a class, these sweet listeners, and explain it. And here's how it goes, for me. First of all, absolutely, meditation and metta is at the heart of how I teach. And I was explaining before that, I need you to want to feel this, to really get in touch with what it feels like to be in your body, to know that you have a body, and to bring mind and body together. So central to how I teach is to continually come back to this meditative place and get you working from there. And that actually has an amazing effect on the whole class. So, you have all these strangers coming together in a class, and within a very short while, everyone is bringing, it really just brings out the best in everyone. And you have this harmonious, really powerful, really deep, sometimes really funny, and everyone is kind of laughing together, but also just such a supportive space that is made. But from a curriculum point of view, I've always operated from a place of less is more. So we learn a full 90-minute massage, but it's not done in a way where, I want to overwhelm you. I want to give you room to breathe and absorb what you're learning. And, tangibly speaking, I layer things in very much. So what that means is you learn something, let's say, on the first day, and let's say the first morning, and then in the afternoon of that first morning, we're always going to come back and review those things before adding on new things. And then at the start of the second day, I'm going to take you back through the first day's material before we add on the second day's material. And essentially, we keep building from there so that it just kind of comes together in this beautiful way And I very much know how, like I think what you're referring to also is in a certain level, what I rely on is that your own body is learning this all the time. So even when you're sleeping at night, you might be sleeping, but your body is still piecing together everything that you've learned. So it's my job to work with that intelligence, your body's own intelligence, to retain things and just kind of help nurture that and strengthen that throughout the training. So, I have just taught so many students at this point with, some with absolutely no background in yoga or understanding or awareness of their own body. But by the end of the, if we're talking about it doesn't matter how long the training is. It could be 2-day or 4-day training or 2-weekend training. Everybody is always able to give the massage. And for me to say that I know exactly why it happens, I mean, I know what the energy and the effort that I put into it, but at the same time, it's always an amazing thing to see it come together, and it just does always come together, though, and it is, I always say I have the best view in the house to see, sometimes even like 50 people. I've taught as many as 50 or 60 people, and to see it all, it's like a wave, and how it just all comes together and builds and flows, and this harmony that happens in a class is really special.
It is. It's pretty amazing. So when I started the Connected Yoga Teacher podcast, I knew that something had to go off my list. And it's really hard for me because I love Thai yoga massage, and that was the thing that had to go. But it's still very present in the yoga that I teach. So I teach a lot of one-on-one in a physiotherapy office. Sometimes I bring that Thai yoga massage in, but also just the holding space for someone or being really present and very connected with the person that you're working with, whether it's through touch or not. I feel like those skills really transferred through. Now, you know my story. I took one training with you, and then I was like, that's it. I'm going to take all the training I can take in now with Thai yoga massage. So tell our listeners how they, what if they're interested in doing Thai yoga massage? Where would they start?
Well, the first place you could start is in your own living room. So, the first commitment, the first thing I would say is to check out my book, the Compassionate Touch book that I just released. There is a 30-minute flow that I share in that book. So that book, for me, it's a very, personal book. I share a lot of my stories, some of which I've shared here, but much more so, because Thai massage, to me, there is the practical side of it, like I just mentioned, all the ways that it can help you to build your business, but there's also all the ways that is part of a spiritual practice, and just how supportive it's been through the trials and tribulations and challenges of just facing life every day. I've dealt with people dying, I've dealt with relationships ending, and all kinds of big things, and having this in my life has been such an ally to lift me up and to support me at of course, those are the biggest, most challenging times, but of course then through the flow of a whole life. So the book that I wrote, the whole first part about it is very much in line with trying to explain why giving is such powerful medicine for you as a giver while you're helping other people. And I would just love for you to start by reading that book to get inspired to understand it even more deeply, why it can help you on your own road to life. And if it resonates with you, then the second half of the book is teaching this flow, and there are also videos that you can purchase, which are only $30, and really, so within, if you dedicate even a day to what's in the videos and what is in the book, and the book is really only a couple of dollars if you get it on Kindle, then that would be a great start for lighting a spark and kind of getting started. Now, if you want to take this more deeply and offer it, of course, professionally to your students, then you would want to come to class and train. So my school is called Still Light Center, and personally my name is Shai. So basically I have a school that's located about an hour south of Toronto, which is in Dundas, Ontario, so right near Hamilton, so kind of in that corridor at Bend Yoga Studio. So her name is Joanne Petit Myers, and she owns this yoga studio, and she's one of my teachers, and another teacher named George Justice. So between the two of them and myself also coming as often as I can, we have a full suite of courses. So there are 2 courses that get you started on being certified with my school. And if you happen to be in the Ontario, like in the Toronto area, you also need a license to, as a holistic practitioner to give this massage. So in either case, there are these 2 courses that comprise primary certification. And after you've completed those 2 courses, you have roughly 2.5 to 3 hours worth of time massage techniques that you can give and that you can customize at an incredibly personal and deep level, because I integrate Ayurveda into it in the second level as well, because the name of the game is personalization. It's customization. It's how can I see you as this most amazing person that you are, meet you there, and give you the best experience possible. And in my opinion, Ayurveda, which is essentially the Indian approach to medicine from a holistic point of view, gives you insights into seeing a person on this more deep level and customizing it not just for the aches and pains that are in their body, which is of course very important. If they have shoulder issues or back issues or wherever the issues may be, you want to address them, but you want to address it in such a way that's personalized. And the energy that you bring into it, do I want to help ground a person? Do I want to help nurture a person or maybe uplift a person at the same time that I'm massaging all those aches and pains? Just takes it all to another level. So in the first 2 classes, you get the ability to give 2.5 to 3 hours of technique that is also really grounded in quality of touch kind of experience, and at the same time customized with Ayurveda. So that level of training is absolutely going to be enough to catapult you and start having these one-on-one amazing sessions with your students, and then bringing it into assists and into adjustments into your yoga classes. So so the thing to do is just check on the calendar and see when and where we're teaching. So we have the classes there, but personally I get invited all over the world to teach these classes as well. So potentially if you are someone who owns a yoga studio or well connected with, and you want to invite me or one of my teachers to come there, of course you can reach out to me that way, or you can see some of the different places that I teach it in North America and then in other places in the world. And if it's close to you, then please, by all means, come and find me and we'll teach you.
This is exactly what we've done up here in Owen Sound. So just need to gather a few people together and then say, okay, we want to host this training here.
And that's exciting, just to add, the fact that you're saying, because I know I haven't been there in 2 or 3 years, but the students that I have taught, like you said, how they're still using it, like to have the restorative and yoga classes. And those are students that I've trained who are continuing to use it. And so you can see that it's one of these trainings where it's not just, I came and I learned this cool thing, but now it's kind of, money that was spent. And because sometimes continuing education can be like that, but, this is really practical. This is really very useful for helping to build your yoga business. There's no doubt about it.
It is. Actually, a funny story with that is I decided, okay, I'm going to try and decrease the amount of Thai yoga massage that I was doing to make more space to do the podcast. So I raised my rates, and I got more people booking, and I was like, oh no, this is the opposite. I actually have to stop doing this. So it did really help me, to fund, to continue on and fund my yoga career. That is for sure. So I'm going to put a link for your book and then also the Still Light Center, the school, so that people can check it out. And then what is the best way that people can get in touch with you? Is it through the website?
Yeah, definitely. The website, Still Light Center, is definitely the best way, or on Facebook, if you look me up, Shai Plonski, you can find me that way and you can message me. I am all about my students, and however I can support you is what I do. So I am someone who loves the one-on-one and answering questions and really putting myself out there as much as I can to support people in their practice. So for sure, reach out to me through social media or through my website, and in all likelihood, it'll be me specifically who answers and not just someone who is helping to run the center.
So I also have to ask, Shai, because your name rhymes with Thai, did you change your name or did your mom name you Shai?
I love that question. I guess it just kind of was meant to be, wasn't it? My parents were not hippies. Far from it. They are Israeli, and Shai is a Hebrew name, and it means a gift. And I have a twin sister, so I am the younger of the twins. And my mom, actually, my parents tried for 7 years or so to have. They had my brother, and then they wanted more kids, and they tried for 7 years to have more kids, and didn't think it was going to happen biologically. And then my mom got the surprise of her life when she found out she was pregnant, and then doubly surprised when she found out she was having twins. So she wanted to say thank you, so she named me Shai as this gift. And clearly, I've been teased for my name kind of my whole upbringing. You don't have to be very creative on the playground to find ways to rhyme things with Shai, but then at the end of the day, I suppose it eventually became, this kind of cool name. Oh, Shai, that's an interesting name. I've never heard that one before. And I'm like, so it became a way to meet people. But then, right, it does rhyme with Thai, and that's me, I guess, Shai Thai.
I love it. I didn't know that story. Well, you
Yep.
certainly are a gift, that is for sure. Like, knowing you as a teacher and as a friend, thank you for sharing this time, and also thanks for sharing Thai massage with a lot of the world.
Thank you, Shannon. I am very, very blessed to have met you so many years ago, and to count you as a friend, and to see all the ways that you have grown. And, you live in a tiny community kind of way out there, and I think that's so inspiring, because you get to have that balanced life of being in nature and yet sharing these amazing passions of yours with the world. And, with this podcast, with all the things that you're doing with mothers, and with, the pelvic yoga that you do and everything like that. I mean, it's on the forefront of how yoga can make such a powerful difference in people's lives. And it's not just, and of course the Owen Sound and kind of northern parts of Ontario area needs it as much as anywhere else, but so does everywhere else kind of need your talents and your gifts. And I love that you've found these amazing ways to spread wide. And I'm so happy and proud, and for whatever part the Thai massage played in helping you get to where you're at now. And I do think, it's great to reflect on this for a moment, because we often just think about what's right in front of us. Like, do I want this? Do I not want this? You don't realize just how every link is just so integral in the chain. And, and just Thai massage did play a part, and even if you're not doing it physically right now, it's there, planting those seeds and helping to spread the next great thing that is coming out there with the world. So I would absolutely encourage anyone who sounds or feels in the least bit inspired by what giving massage and giving this kind of touch can do for you to really check it out. And you just never know how it's going to help you blossom in all the ways that you are capable of doing. So yeah. I'm so happy that it's been part of it for you. And
it's been a huge part. Now I think Sean and I were just saying, my partner Sean was saying the other day, I did a little rocking movement with the massage, and he was like, we need to book a full Thai yoga massage. Sean also learned how to give Thai yoga massage, but it's just we both need to book one and just receive.
Well, that could, I mean, in a way, that's the whole point of the Compassionate Touch book, is for you, and him to make space at home to do that with each other. And I know you have your own busy professional and personal lives, having 3 kids and everything, but, that's the idea, is to carve a little time and give each other even 10 minutes, 20 minutes on a regular basis, and what that does for you to help melt the stress, to help come back together as a couple, to help help scratch that itch of what you just said of how you both really could use a massage. I think it's great that you should be doing that on each other. And the other thing I got to say, because you just telling that story also reminded me of my daughter. I have a 5-year-old daughter.
Who's lovely, who's so amazing.
Okay. Thank you. I can't disagree there. I would say she's the coolest person I know, but she has, it's amazing, to give her little tastes of massage as well, and how she takes it and runs with it. So she loves now, I've been massaging her a little bit, ever since she was born, but, now that she's of this age, she will say okay, Daddy, lie down, and she'll put her knee into my leg or my bum or my back, or walk on me, or put her hands on me, or whatever way, and just, she's such a natural, and it has become this whole wonderful powerful way to bond with her. And just the other day, we were doing more like these self-massage techniques. Mm-hmm. She's like, just like, okay, Daddy, I'm going to take you through this whole self-massage techniques. And she had me, we were both in the living room, and she just did all these amazing things. Like, we just did it once together a couple weeks earlier, and somehow she retained all these things that we were doing and just ran with it, So that's another thing I would say, like bringing it into the home, what it does for your relationship with your family, with your kids. I mean, I'm so blown away actually by it all. And I will just say this one last story, because once in a while I get students in my class who really grow up this way with learning or exchanging massage in their family life, and they didn't even know that it wasn't a regular thing, that most people don't grow up exchanging massage at home, and their houses kind of become like the place that their friends want to come to, because after dinner it's like, okay, everybody gives massage for a little while after dinner, and it's just this incredible bonding thing that people do. The truth is, Thai massage this way, it is preventative medicine. It's like the whole idea is why wait until you have pain or something feels wrong before you address it. Just the fact of doing something regularly like this is going to help you to just feel healthier and better all the time. But then also, of course, especially at a time where we have our devices and all these pressures that put us into a bubble and kind of keep us separated from each other, this is like the antidote. And essentially it's just this powerful medicine to bring people together. And when you feel that for another person, I feel like those are the seeds of peace and real fundamental, bringing the change in the world that we all know the world needs. It starts internally in ourselves, and then it starts in the relationships that we have with each other, and then it ripples out from there. And I just feel like I can't think of anything that is as to the point in how to nurture that in relationships, because oftentimes we just don't even have the words for expressing how we feel for each other, and our own baggage can even get in the way, and we can't help but have our busy mind that is judging and self-critical and sometimes critical of each other. And so, that's the mind and the heart being kind of separated from each other. And here's a practice that is all about encouraging how to bring mind into the body and into the moment. And when we're in the moment, of course, that is the energy of love, and that is the energy of kindness and compassion. And then you work from that place, first of all, to nurture yourself while you help other people. And you're not operating on the same plane anymore, or the same playing field of what is usually going on in our mind when we're in the past or the future. The energy of the present moment is a whole other dimension, and in a way it's kind of like having to educate ourselves about that, because even we think about it as a straight line, past, present, and future being on one straight line, but it really isn't. The energy of the present moment is a whole higher element of being and self, and here we are in a way of the method to bring someone else into that space together, and that's how we raise ourselves up. So yeah, it's powerful.
So true. It is very powerful. I like how you brought that in, that it's the present moment, because when you're even I also appreciate that you said just 10 minutes, because I came over and did a little Thai yoga massage on Sean, and he just sort of melted, and then he was like, I miss that. And that's all it takes, is that short little bit, and a connection, and just like everything else is whirling around us, but then it's dropping into that moment. So I'm excited about your book.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm excited too. And I'm excited for everyone who's here listening, to share this. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Shai.
Thanks, Shannon. Really, tremendously.
Okay, big hugs.
Big hugs to you too. Thanks so much.
Alrighty, connected yoga teachers. So much great information there from Shai. Thank you, Shai, for sharing your time today, as well as sharing this really important work of teaching people about the importance of touch, teaching them through the trainings that you offer, but also just in the invitation to use touch within the relationships in your life. So I'm excited to share a link for the book that you've just completed. I'll put it in the show notes for you guys. It's called Compassionate Touch, Giving Massage for Optimal Health, Thriving Relationships, and Spiritual Awakening. Also, there will be a link for the Still Light Center. This is the Thai massage school that Shai founded. And as he said, he's willing to travel around as well. And he's got a great team of teachers if you're interested in studying further. Another link that I'm putting in there is an example of a gentle yoga with Thai yoga massage assists. It's a workshop that we have at Tone Yoga Studio, and it was put together, this particular one was put together by Kathy Bailey and Maxine Iherosi, who we heard from last week on the podcast. This is something that always goes over really well at our studio. So some of my key takeaways here, just to summarize the points that Shai made. Shai talked about how taking a Thai yoga massage training can really strengthen your hands-on assisting, or what can also be referred to as adjustments in class. I really noticed this in my own journey. After my Thai massage training, I really felt confident in offering students assists. I even went further and studied more about assisting and created a 50-hour yoga teacher training with a lot of the foundations, a lot of the roots from that Thai massage training. Also, Shai talked about how this builds connections with our yoga students and even changes the energy within a class. Thai yoga massage also gives teachers a new skill and a source of revenue. So this is what kept me afloat sometimes. It was a different source of revenue, and at a time back in my career when yoga wasn't paying all of the bills, Thai massage really helped. Shai also talked about how this gives a new workshop opportunity, how we can add that in. So that example of the gentle yoga with Thai yoga massage, yoga teachers can do this with restorative, with yin, with gentle, many possibilities here. Also, I've done Thai yoga massage on retreats, so that's another opportunity that it brings in. And for myself, I really noticed that giving Thai massage enabled me to book daytime one-on-one appointments in a massage space. So even though I'm not booking Thai yoga massage appointments anymore, the reason why I'm not is not that I don't love Thai yoga massage. I certainly do. The reason why I'm not booking Thai yoga massage anymore is that something had to drop off the list. So when I really was drawn to the work of the Connected Yoga Teacher and more consultation calls with yoga teachers, something had to go. I had to niche down, and it was really tough to pick what that would be. But as I said, Thai yoga massage really still informs what I do and what I offer. So even in the way I teach yoga classes, the way I offer private yoga sessions, I feel really confident in the touch that I can give, and I feel really confident in my knowledge about the human body. If you have questions about Thai yoga massage, I'm happy to answer them, and I can also tag Shai in the Connected Yoga Teacher Facebook group. Also, you can post questions just in the comments section of the show notes. Thank you to Rob, our fantastic podcast editor. He really puts together the sound. I send him a whole bunch of files, and he makes it sound amazing. So thank you, Rob. You really make this happen, and people don't get to meet you and hear from you. Feel free to say hello sometime on the podcast as you edit away. Also, I wanted to read a review from Betsy Betts from the United States. Betsy Betts says, try saying that 5 times fast. Okay, Betsy Betts says, I started teaching in early 2017, and this pod has been so helpful and supportive as I navigate this new side of the yoga world. Thank you, Shannon, for all that you do. Thank you for that, Betsy Bet. You're welcome as well. And I love being able to share this and ask a lot of questions and bring information to all of you. Okay, Connected Yoga Teachers, signing off here. Stay connected to self, to your practice, and to your community so that you can share the yoga that lights you up.